Hello, I'm Kristin. Welcome to my channel, From Chronic Fatigue to Chronic Abundance. And this is my weekly live Q&A where I answer your questions with my take on the answers on how to live better while you still have severe chronic fatigue as a symptom. I sometimes get asked why I use the term severe chronic fatigue instead of just always saying ME/CFS. Or chronic fatigue syndrome. And the reason is because what I talk about here is applicable to anybody living with severe chronic fatigue as a symptom. It's that simple, really. I realize that it's a symptom, and that's why I refer to it that way. Now, not everybody who has that severe symptom has ME/CFS, has been diagnosed with it. Maybe they're living with something like lupus or undertreated hypothyroidism or Lyme's disease. And what I talk about on this channel specifically really is applicable to anybody living with that symptom, regardless of the reason why, okay? So it does apply to those of you who have ME/CFS or presume you have ME/CFS, but it's also applicable to other people. I'm trying to be more inclusive with my language. So let's see. If you haven't been here before, the way this works is every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time zone, I get on and you can drop your questions in the chat box for me, and then I will give you my take on the answers. I am not a doctor or a therapist or anyone licensed in anything to do anything anywhere. So I cannot diagnose, I cannot treat you, I cannot tell you what to do when it comes to your healing journey. All I do here is share for you what's worked for me. Why would you care about what's worked for me? Well, over the past 10 years, I have had to overcome several bouts of severe chronic fatigue, and I healed in between each time, okay? And for me as one person, in order to heal 3 times, I needed 3 completely different healing journeys to get better. All right, if there was one plan to get better from this, if there was one path forward, one magic bullet, I would have found it, okay? But the truth is, healing is a journey, and I needed different things. And each time I relapsed, it was because I hadn't mastered certain aspects of healing. I had to master all of those aspects in order to get out of the relapse cycle for good, okay? So the next question is, well, how bad was it? How sick was I at my worst? Well, I went from being a type A high performer, had a great job. I mean, I was making pretty good money for someone in their mid-20s when I first became ill. I was really ambitious and motivated. I was launching my first company while working full-time. I was really big into health and fitness. I was doing CrossFit multiple days a week. I was really big into like nutrition and diet at the time. And I lost all of that when I became ill. I became so ill that I completely had to leave work. I couldn't even do my consulting job an hour a day from my laptop from bed. We tried and it didn't work. I obviously couldn't have a social life. I had to give up CrossFitting. I had just decided to maybe start training for the CrossFit Games. And of course, all of that went away. I couldn't be the friend or girlfriend that I wanted to be. I essentially lost everything that I used to identify myself by. I lost my ability to be an ambitious go-getter. I lost my identity as someone who gets things done, as someone you can rely upon to do the work, okay? All of that taken away from me. And when I got better the first time, I got all of that back. It took several years for me to figure out how to heal, but once I figured it out, I eventually got there. It wasn't a clear, like, overnight kind of thing. I would say once I started to learn how to heal, it still took a good year to year and a half to really get everything back in place. But once I did, I was working in an office again full-time, more than full-time. I was working out again. I had a social life again. I was saving money and planning for my future and going on trips and all those wonderful, wonderful things that I know you're missing out on right now to some degree. My heart goes out to you when you're still in that place. And I relapsed and I lost it all. I went back to where I was before, unable to work, unable to be the person I wanted to be, okay? I was healing from that relapse, being ready to go back to work when I relapsed again, like all the way back down, super hard. And this third time, I even developed new symptoms. I even became newly diagnosed with like IBS, for example, amongst other things. So it was truly a wild ride, my health journey. It was all over the place. If you have any questions about my health journey, I'm happy to answer those. You can pop those questions into the chat box as well at any time. And then the third time I healed, I had learned a few things from the first two times. And I realized it started to become clear to me where I was shaky in my health foundations. And I started really focusing hard and getting very serious about living a life of healing that meant not just recovering from health, but sustaining that health for the long term so I could avoid relapses. And now it's been 4 years, over 4 years, I think. Yeah, over 4 years at this point since my last recovery, and no more relapses. And I'm honestly not afraid of ever relapsing again because I really feel like I have that connection to my body. I know what to do when it happens again, and I know how to sustain my energy physically, mentally, and emotionally now. Now, how did I do all that? People love to ask. Um, I did it in several ways. There wasn't just one way that I did it. And even each way I did it, there were multiple things I did. Okay. So when I say that I learned to generate and sustain energy physically, mentally, and emotionally, I had to look at each aspect of myself, my being, in order to get better. So physically, I had to find the right practitioner to work with. I needed At each point in my journey, I needed someone different. I think that's important to say. There wasn't one person to just heal me from the beginning. There were multiple people who served as help along a leg of my journey, my healing journey. I worked with licensed acupuncturists. I have worked with health coaches, licensed medical doctors. I've also seen, of course, the standard medical doctors who are relatively useless when people like us get ill with the types of illnesses that we have. I didn't really work with them. I'm more tolerated their terrible appointments. I've worked with a lot of different people. And where was I going with that point? I got lost talking about how terrible doctors can be. Dang it. Um, oh yeah, okay. So when I was talking about like my physical health, there were a lot of things wrong with my body. Now, the conventional doctors did all the blood work and found nothing wrong. So they all told me I was fine and, just needed to stress less. Like that's helpful. Just telling someone to stress less, like that's helpful. And it wasn't until I found the right people who started looking at the right blood work, which is blood work none of the normal doctors had ever done before. Okay. And these other practitioners found things in my body that were off that needed help. Okay. So finding those, there were toxicities, there were nutrient deficiencies, there were things out of balance. Using primarily supplementation to correct those was instrumental in my healing journey and absolutely necessary. And I wouldn't have the health I have today if I hadn't uncovered all of these internal issues, physical issues, through the right blood work that normal doctors do not do. Okay. Emotionally, I needed to work on my mindset. Okay. And that's primarily what I talk about here because mindset is the one thing that helped me heal all three times. Okay. Like the physical stuff was different every time I healed. The mental stuff was the same. So that's what I talk about here because it's really the foundation for healing. I needed to change my mindset in order to help me generate the motivation and hope to keep going in those really dark moments that I think you know what I'm talking about. The right mindset changed how I chose what doctors to work with. It changed how I showed up with them. It changed my expectations for what a good doctor looks like, when I'll see someone again and when they will never get my money ever again. It changed my approach to healing. It gave me an experimental mindset, knowing that because my health issues are still poorly understood by medicine and by science, there is no plan for me out there that's 100% going to work. So I'm going to have to discover what I need. And that can be a very hard pill to swallow, that we need to experiment and discover what works for us. But for the vast majority of us, that's just absolutely the case. We need to be willing to do a little bit of experimentation, guided experimentation. I do not recommend testing out supplements and things on your own, testing out treatments on your own. because some of these things can be very harmful, especially when we're severely ill, as many of us are. Our bodies don't always respond to things normally or in the way that's expected, and negative symptoms and negative side effects from treatments are all too common. And without the right guidance, you don't know what those mean. You don't know how to support the side effects. You don't know if it means the supplement you're taking is bad for you or good for you. Like, there's just too many unknowns, and there's too many variables for one person to figure all of this out on their own. I highly, highly, highly recommend looking for the right doctor for you that fits within your geographic boundaries, your financial boundaries, your everything boundaries, who can guide you through this healing journey. Okay. I couldn't have done it without the multiple practitioners who guided me along the way. And I know it's hard. It takes time. It takes energy we don't have. We can crash after going to the doctors and all that. But the work to find a great practitioner is critical. It's just essential from my point of view. Let's see. Any questions? Pop them in the chat box. So I talked about how I worked on myself physically. I talked about how my mindset helped me emotionally look at the world differently. And then I also needed to work on myself a little bit mentally. I was really, really hard on myself before I got ill. Nothing was ever good enough. I was a massive perfectionist, okay? And the expectations I held for myself were horrible. Like, they were unrealistic. Anytime I met my own expectations, I immediately beat myself up by saying things like, oh, you set the bar too low. You should have expected more of yourself. You should actually be here. Like, it was, let's just call it really terrible, really negative self-talk in very high volume. I needed to get a handle on that in order to help my body heal, as well as to help facilitate the mindset shift that I really needed to go through. And the interesting thing is that the physical, mental, emotional aspects of our body, they don't heal independently all of the time. Sometimes there's a really great synergy that happens where, you know, you need to address, let's say, nutrient deficiencies in your body in order to help your mindset be better. And vice versa. Sometimes you need to be in a more like loving, forgiving, what's the word I like to use? Compassionate frame of mind in order to feel less stress, in order for your body to be able to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest and heal response of the body. Raf, hello. Good to see you. Thank you so much. It comes from lots and lots of practice. One thing that you may not know is that I film a lot of video for my business, and filming video every week and having to speak very fluidly has been great practice, and that's where that comes from. I'm also on a lot of networking calls, so I am talking about myself a lot. And it's just practice. That eloquence is practice. From any person on earth, eloquence is a result of practice. Because the only thing that's standing between me and taking up a new hobby, making video articles, is your slow brain. Oh, Raf, I wouldn't worry about being slow. I wouldn't worry about that at all, because here's the thing. When I first started this channel, I used to make very short, like 3 to 5 minute videos on very specific topics. I would talk about like one thing per video. And I put out a lot of those videos. I want to say close to 90 of those videos or something like that. Maybe it was like 70, whatever the number was. It was like dozens and dozens. And I used to record them in advance. And I used to be very specific, very careful with the words that I used. And I actually used to speak very slowly on those videos, which I could do when I was filming short videos, because I knew that it would be hard for some people to follow along because of severe brain fog and chronic fatigue and all those things. And for that application, that was totally fine. And I've actually had people tell me they appreciated how slowly I used to speak. Now, when I'm doing a live video like this, it's very unnatural for me to speak slowly. And I don't have practice doing that, because for my business, I think I come across more authentically when I'm speaking faster, to be honest. So there's pros and cons to that. And even if it takes you a while to like put ideas together and think of the right word, that slowness, someone's appreciating those pauses in your dialogue in order to like keep up with you. And to put their own mental pieces together while you're speaking. So like, I want to encourage you to go ahead and do video anyway, even if you feel like your delivery and your presence on video isn't good enough. I really think it could be. Anna, you took the bus? That's amazing though. That's really cool progress. Oh, I'm just over the moon for you. I know that seems like such a small thing to other people, but like being able to do something normal, like go ride the bus. It's hard because you've got to walk to the bus, you've got to walk upstairs to get on the bus. At least in the US, you do. There's a couple steps. The buses, well, actually, you know what? Public transit in Germany is different, but in the US, it's very noisy, which can be draining. Maybe it's quieter and easier in Germany. I don't know. But that's so cool. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, and I checked out Gupta last time too, and he definitely seems legit. With any program, none of these things are ever guaranteed to work for 100% of people. But if you were looking for something to help you work on your mindset, it seems like a really fantastic program. It looks so good. Roth, interestingly, since I have started doing videos for my business, I make them a lot fancier than these videos. I do my hair and my makeup, and I wear nice clothes, and I wear these big, beautiful earrings. And I have I'll wear like this white top, and I have this black background to me, like as black as this shirt background behind me. And I have like lights on my hair so you can see my hair, but with like the white shirt and the black background and like my hair and makeup all done and everything. My videos are very striking, and I edit them very nicely. I practice and practice and practice each of my videos so they come off very fluidly. I have really cool like graphics and transitions in them. They look professionally done. Like people have assumed that I'm paying a lot of money to have these videos created that I'm making for my business. And I'm not. I'm doing it all myself from home. I have all the equipment, I have the software, I have the skills to do everything end to end. And I've actually started like a side business doing video for other businesses, which is really unexpected and kind of crazy and really fun for me to do. And I'm sharing this because tomorrow I'm actually giving a talk on helping other people be able to create great looking video from home. And this is for a private audience. It's for a networking group that I'm a part of. It's just for members only. But I'm thinking about turning this into a course. And, Roth, if I ever turn it into a course, or anyone who's on this channel, if I ever turn that how to do video from home talk into a course, I would absolutely give it to any of you for free. If you just messaged me. I'm definitely going to make it into a course. Let's put it that way. It's just a matter of when and how quickly. And one of the things I'm going to be saying in this talk tomorrow is that, people think that our delivery on camera, our presence on camera, should stop us from putting videos out there. They feel like if we're not professional looking enough, or, we don't look the way we think we're supposed to, or sound the way we think we're supposed to, it's going to stop us from sharing what we have to say. And I think that's a problem. I think more people should just be saying what they have to say. So I have like the 6 key factors to creating great videos from home in this talk tomorrow. Okay. And in order from 1 to 5, your delivery, the way you speak, your camera presence is only number 5 out of 6. It's pretty low priority. Number 1 priority, the one thing you need to create a video that's good enough to share, is to have something great to say that people want to hear, that you think is important for other people to think about. As long as you have a great topic, it's okay if you have crappy visuals and audio and your delivery isn't perfect. People are going to listen if you have something worth saying. So I cannot encourage you enough to just start filming yourself at home. And I'm not saying you have to share the first video with the world, but I do want to encourage you to maybe share the third or fourth try, okay? That's all I'll say on that for now. Anna says, now I can say face masks suck. Okay, it wasn't long. It was 15 minutes for One Direction. Not bad, not bad. They do suck. Yeah. Yeah, Anna, I was more styled because like I was sharing with Ralph, like I thought in order to be heard, I had to look and sound a certain way. Like I thought I had to get my hair. I used to pay to get my hair done before I would film videos before. It was getting expensive. And like all these nice clothes and my makeup. And like I spent a lot of time prepping that stuff. And eventually I stopped worrying about how I looked as much and just really focused on saying things that were meaningful and important and connecting with people. And it's fine. Like that's the great thing I've learned is it's fine. You guys don't need me to look or sound a certain way. You guys just need me to show up and authentically be here and to care for you and to connect with you and be as honest and direct and articulate as I can be. That's the most important thing. So taking off some of the pressure has made it easier for me. So I've been able to do this for longer too. Hi, Jack. How are you? I'm so curious about what's going on in your neck of the woods. If you want to share, it's okay if you don't. No pressure, no pressure. My tea is probably ready here. I'm gonna grab my tea. I poured the hot water like just before I came on. It's been sitting. It's been sitting for a while, but it's herbal tea, so it's okay. Okay. I found this really great herbal chai. I don't like caffeine for the most part. And most chai tea has black tea in it. This has no black tea, just all of the spices. And this is the first time I'm trying it. Smells good. Smells predominantly like cinnamon. Dang, it's not very good. It's kind of weak. It's too bad. It needs a little milk and honey. Let's see. All right. So what questions do you guys have for me today? I'm always best at answering questions. All right. So I know you guys like to hear more about my story. Maybe, let me think. Oh, Anna, you have your eyes closed most of the time when you're watching my videos. And that's fine. You know what? I actually really like that. It turns it into a podcast. And, it decreases the amount of energy needed to get the content out of these videos. And that's wonderful. So that's cool. I don't need to be looked at. I'm not here to be looked at. I'm here to share info. But I do like the YouTube live stream format because I like showing that there's a real person here. Sometimes when you're listening to a podcast, you can kind of be wondering like, who is this person? What are they saying? What do I know about them? And I feel like by putting a face to it, it comes across as more believable. Like here, I'm standing behind everything I say. That's right, no makeup necessary. I saved that for my work videos. Or for the talk I'm giving tomorrow. Because that's going to be recorded as well, I think. Let's see, where was my mind going? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about my story more. I was going to try to come up with something that maybe I haven't shared before or I haven't talked about often on my healing journey. Of course, if you guys have questions, I'm here for those as well. Yeah, it is more personal seeing my apartment and everything. Even my freaking crooked lampshade, I noticed that as soon as we went live. I was like, when did that happen? I should have fixed that. And like my stuff over here, I got some new filming equipment. I just unboxed it. I didn't think it would be in frame, but it is. So it's whatever. Let's see, what's something about my story that I haven't talked about a lot? I talked about the first time I collapsed at the CrossFit gym. I've talked about how I was misdiagnosed as having asthma for 6 months, when really it was PEM, it was post-exertional malaise, that was making it hard for me to breathe, along with my energy collapses and my, physical bodily collapses that were happening. I've talked about, like, my first diagnosis was severe iodine deficiency, and how once I got that diagnosis, I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's the only problem I have. I'm going to get totally better. And the truth is I got like a little bit better from taking iodine. But it was by no means the only issue I had. And also, I always have to say this, iodine, always get tested before you start supplementing it. You can go online and get high quality urine analysis. You can go to the doctor and ask for a blood test. Always make sure you're working with somebody who understands iodine and who knows how to supplement it and how to support your body through supplementation, because iodine deficiency can cause a myriad of severe side effects in some people. It didn't in me, but it can in others. So I always need to put that caution out there so no one just starts taking it, because it can make life harder for you. Trust me. Let's see. Or seeing the dog, Darius. Hey, buddy. Let's see if he'll come. Come here. Come here, bud. He doesn't want to get on the couch. He just wants pets. He doesn't want to be in frame. Sorry, guys. Hey, buddy. There we go. Ralph, do you think someone can go from 10 severe chronic fatigue to working 12 hours a day if that person loves that work? Not if they don't treat the underlying problems. I'm not sure I understand the question, Ralph, because when you say a 10 severe chronic fatigue, I mean, like, the absolute worst cases of severe chronic fatigue are people who can't even tolerate any light. They have to live in, like blacked out rooms full time. They can barely eat. They can barely go to the bathroom. They can't read. They can't listen to music. Any sound hurts them physically. And I personally don't know any stories of anyone being that severe and recovering. I'm not saying they aren't out there. There might be. I just personally haven't come across that, if that is part of your question. Oh, okay. So 10 years of severe. I personally think that's possible. I personally think, from my own personal experience, I believe that if all of the underlying biological root causes of disease are discovered and treated, I do think it is possible for someone to heal, especially if they develop a mindset that supports the body's healing process. Is it going to be like a harder, longer road for them? Probably, but I don't think it's impossible. And I do think with the right mindset that people can go back to work 12 plus hours a day and not become ill again. I do think it's possible with the right commitment and doctors and support and resources. I do believe in the possibility of that. Yes. Hi, Roxy. All right, Roxy asks, can you please speak about how you felt when you woke up in the morning? What were your morning symptoms? Oh, that's an interesting question. I haven't gotten that one before. So I appreciate that question. Give me a second to think about that. All right, so when I was at my most ill, I always slept. Sleeping enough wasn't ever a problem for me. I always fell asleep. I generally stayed asleep. But of course, as one of the hallmarks of ME/CFS and other health conditions like these is that my sleep was not refreshing. I didn't feel rested in the morning. I always felt tired and exhausted. I still was able to like take naps every day in spite of sleeping enough at night. So I always woke up tired. Specific morning sensations. This might be a little TMI, but I'm going to include it because it's a symptom I've had on and off over the years. I normally have my bowel movements in the morning, and when I was seriously ill, I would often have this experience of like, I would have my morning bowel movement, and immediately after the bowel movement, my fatigue would skyrocket. It would get insanely bad. I would become extremely bloated to the point where like my belly was like very distended. And I just generally felt awful. Like my mood would kind of go super sour. So, you know, I felt that way most mornings for a little bit. I never, I'm, I'm lucky I never had to deal with pain. I never had like headaches or joint aches or anything like that. There would be a lot of weakness in my body in the mornings, especially. Definitely a lot of weakness. Um, I had my cortisol tested. Like I think Anna had talked about last week, getting your cortisol tested throughout the day, doing like a cortisol saliva test. Can be very enlightening. And my cortisol was low, but it wasn't severely low. So like I know there was a little bit of low cortisol I was dealing with in the morning, but it wasn't a massive part of my problem. Um, how else did I feel in the morning? I would just say just very tired, very spaced out mentally, very weak. My muscles would be very weak. It was probably like the most fragile my energy was all day in the morning. Like it was very easy for me to overdo it and get into a crash in the mornings if I wasn't extremely careful. Those are the sensations I'm remembering the most. All right, let's see. Roxy feels extremely imbalanced, like she's drunk. Her head feels very fuzzy. Roxy, are you having a feeling of vertigo? Is it like vertigo, or is it something else that you're feeling? That drunk feeling. I would say there were times when I would get that like dizzy, imbalanced feeling. Like I had to walk very slowly. Otherwise, I might kind of fall over or trip or something. But I wouldn't say that was a common one for me. Hmm. Oh, Rafa's asking what race is that? I'm sorry. Is that a question for me? If so, I don't know what race you're talking about. You'll have to remind me of your question if that's a question for me. And it says nobody should work 12 hours a day. I think I think it's okay. I wouldn't recommend doing that 7 days a week, but some people do that 3 days a week. Like instead of working 8 hours a day for 5 days a week, some people have 12-hour shifts for 3 days a week, or maybe 4 days a week. And for some people, that works really well because they have more rest days. Um, so I think it's a personal thing. And if you really like, some people really enjoy doing work, and working long hours isn't stressful to them. It isn't stressful to their mind. It isn't stressful to their body. It can actually be a very healing, cathartic thing for some people in the right circumstances. So I think it's a very personal issue how much to work. Raf wants to hustle. So it's great to have a goal, Raf. Get into 12 hours of work a day that feels amazing and fuels you, and legitimately isn't stressing your body or mind, and isn't causing you to sacrifice things that you'll regret down the road. That's a very cool goal. I'm here to support that goal. And I think it's about setting like little milestones along the way and celebrating every little win as you come across it. Oh, Jack, no worries. Okay, you haven't started working with anyone still yet, as you just consulted with a closer doctor who lives nearby, but you're still weighing up your options. Very smart. Very good idea. What is my hair doing? Why is it separating? I still need to speak with that doctor in America. Oh, you haven't spoken with Dr. Chaikin yet, or you did speak with Dr. Chaikin? You have started a gallbladder formula, which you think is helping your pain. That's cool. Anything that's helping your pain is a good thing. Raf, do you think there is permanent damage in CFS? There is no tissue damage shown in any study, but damage can manifest in other forms than tissue damage. So it's hard to talk about ME/CFS in general because there seems to be multiple causes for it. There seems to be a lot of different root causes in different people. And, there is a wide range of treatments that help people get better. So because there's such a broad range of causes and such a broad range of what has helped other people get better, I'm not saying that I think anyone and everyone who has been diagnosed with ME/CFS faces the same potential damage. From my experience, based on the things I've read and learned and lived through, I believe that for most people, the damage is reversible. It may take years to reverse the damage, but I do think it is. When the body has what it needs, when the body has enough sleep, which is way more than almost anybody gets, when the body has enough nutrients, when the body has enough rest, the body is extremely resilient. We are physically wildly resilient, okay? When we have the right things in place. When we don't have the right ingredients, when we don't have that foundation of health, maybe the body isn't so resilient. But I personally feel like, most people can repair the damage that has been done to their bodies when they have, general severe chronic fatigue as a severe chronic fatigue as a symptom that's undiagnosed, or ME/CFS. Now, there are other causes of severe chronic fatigue as a symptom that do cause lasting damage. Like, for example, I have Hashimoto's hyperthyroidism, which is autoimmune hyperthyroidism. With autoimmunity, my body is attacking itself. My body has attacked my thyroid, meaning I don't have all of the thyroid that I used to have. My body's been slowly killing it. I don't know how much of it is dead. I don't have like a percentage or a size or a volume or anything like that, but the body doesn't grow back thyroid tissue. So my autoimmune disease has caused irreversible damage. It doesn't seem like it's an extreme amount of damage. It seems like a small amount of damage, but it's still there and it won't be reversed. So while I have irreversible damage in my body, I don't think of it as because of the things that caused all of my severe chronic fatigue. Right after I had my iodine diagnosis, then they immediately tested my thyroid. I've had my hypothyroidism well managed for a decade now. Okay. And excuse me. And I share that because having my hypothyroidism well treated did not help the other things in my body get better, but it created a healthier foundation upon which the rest of the treatments I took to work. If that answers your question. I guess it's a very long answer to your question, really. Yeah, I know. So the point, there can be damage other than tissue damage. Well, it's damage that isn't tissue damage. Is that really? So like if our nervous system is damaged, that's tissue damage to our nerves, right? Our nerves have stopped working. I guess we'd have to have for me to fully answer this question, I would want to have a discussion with you on how we define damage in the body. that is not tissue-based? Like, what are you referring to when you say damage that is not tissue-based? And then from there, maybe I could give a richer answer. Oh, Jax. Oh, I'm really glad your pain has gone down. That's so great. Yay. Always celebrate your progress. Always celebrate your wins. I lost my place. Okay, here we go. Yay. Oh, Ralph continues his question. Are the symptoms not due to damage, but more like a continuous process? Yeah, I haven't experienced like the severe chronic fatigue as a symptom or like the ME/CFS being due to any tissue damage on anyone's part. And all of the people I know who have gotten better from ME/CFS have done so completely. Like when I say they got better, I mean like they're exercising again. They're living fully functioning lives once again. None of them seem to have lasting tissue damage, myself included. So it from the people I talk with about this and the things I've read, it is more about systems of the body being out of whack, being out of alignment, not having the right nutrients that they need, not having the right health foundations in place to support processes and things like that, that leads to these symptoms. And real quick note, ME/CFS is nothing but a collection of symptoms. ME/CFS is not a defined disorder. Okay, all ME/CFS is, doctors have said, well, we've seen this set of symptoms in people, so we're going to classify it all together, but it's not actually pointing to any specific disorder within the body. It is literally just a description of symptoms that has been given a name. Oh, Jack, I am well. I can't complain. Actually, I'll fill you guys in. I got bit by a dog over the weekend, and I had to go to an urgent care center. If you're not in the US, urgent care centers are like an emergency room, but they're not attached to a hospital. They're just like in a strip mall or like in a business location. And they're usually faster and less expensive than going to the ER. They can't do everything. Like if I got a gunshot wound, I would go to the ER and not an urgent care center. But for like a dog bite, it was a perfect place to go. I went there because maybe I shouldn't. It was a bad bite. Let's just say that the dog got a hold of my skin and ripped my skin open. I could see what was underneath my skin. So I thought I was going to go get stitches. So I went to the urgent care center and they're like, well, we don't do stitches for dog bites because they consider it a puncture wound, and like anything that got inside the skin could become infected. And if they stitched that up, then the infection could stay inside me. Whereas if they leave it open, the body can flush things out naturally. So no stitches for me. I'm going to have a gnarly scar to show you guys maybe in a couple weeks or something. So that was a really, really awful experience to go through, being bitten like that. So my sister and her husband just moved. This is one of my pregnant sisters. And they moved on Friday. So Saturday, which is a holiday here in the US, the 4th of July, we went out to go see their new house and to have a little barbecue in the backyard. And they have a dog. And they've had this dog for 5 years. And I've met this dog multiple times. But they've had problems with her. She was a rescue. They got her when she was 2 years old, and they don't know what her life was like before they rescued her, but it doesn't seem like it was a nice life. So she has some mental issues. They have problems with her just over time becoming increasingly aggressive with other dogs. She'll scare people pretty badly. She's actually bitten my brother-in-law a few times. And she'll just be like the sweetest dog. Like she was hanging out with all of us, being a sweet dog. My sister had her on a leash in the backyard where we were grilling. And, you know, I bent down to pet her and I was looking her in the eyes, like watching for any funny business. And she gave me zero warning. And she just went from like sweet to suddenly just attacking me. And she got my arm there, and I pulled away, and then the dog slipped herself out of her collar. So my sister was just holding a leash and a collar with no dog attached. And then she came at me again, and I managed to get like my other hands like underneath her jaw to stop her from biting me again. And then my brother-in-law like dives and tackles like football, like American football, tackles the dog to the ground. And then I went to the urgent care center and everything. So they're going to put the dog down because you can't have a dog that bites people, A, and you especially can't have a dog that bites people when you have a baby on the way, because you don't know what that dog is going to do with the baby. It could be the sweetest dog in the world with the baby, or it might not be, and they just can't take the chance, and you can't give away a dog that bites. So the way I look at it, really horrible situation. Of course, I'm not happy it happened. Of course, like I wish things went differently. But at the same time, like it's one of those things where it's like making lemonade out of lemons. If I got bit instead of my niece getting bit, then I'm fine with it. Like then it's a good thing if this was the wake up call that they needed to get rid of this dog before the baby came, which it was. So just another, a little like healing mindset example of how you can look at any situation and choose to give it meaning. I could just be upset and grumpy and angry at my sister for letting her dog bite me, but I'm not. I'm grateful that my niece isn't going to face any danger. So it's not easy, but it's a worthwhile mindset to adopt. Oh my God, I love all the conversation happening today. I got so much to catch up on. Oh, Jack, that's so amazing. You're not bedbound anymore. Huge progress. Huge progress. I know it can be so hard to celebrate when we're not where we want to be, but we have to celebrate every little win that we get because they are so sweet. Every little win is so sweet. Yeah, Ralph, that's great progress on your side too. Oh, Ralph, that's a great point. Like when your body asks to lay down, that's when you know it's too late. You've got to be a little more proactive about it. I would encourage you to start looking for earlier warning signs that your body gives you. As I started paying more attention to my body, I found that there were more and more subtle signs that my body gave me earlier and earlier that I only noticed if I was actively looking for them all the time, which I know can be exhausting and distracting from other things we want to do, but getting in touch with those very subtle warning signals helps us prevent crashes and lets us rest before it's too late. Roxy, you know what? That's so interesting. I don't know why I never thought of Zoom meetings. If anyone else is down to do a Zoom meeting where we can all be on, I can host that. I have a paid account for Zoom now. And I think I can have like up to 50 people on, which just never gets 50 people on it anyway. So we could definitely all do that. If you guys are interested, I could share a Zoom link. In fact, if you guys on this call right now want to do a Zoom call next week, I could give you the link to that right now, and then you'll have it. Let me know in the comments what you think, in the chat box what you think. Let's see. Jack says, hey, Roxy, I get that drunk feeling too sometimes. It comes and goes, but it has gotten better generally over time. Also great. Oh, Ralph, the race of the dog. Oh, Darius is a Doberman. He's a Doberman. He's an American Doberman. Apparently there are European Dobermans, which are like wider, stockier, like more muscly. And Darius is an American Doberman, which has more Greyhound mixed in. So he's like longer, leaner looking. I think of him as like a little like doggy supermodel because he's all legs and super skinny. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Ralph, I'm so happy. I'm saying it better than I used to. Not perfectly yet, but I'm saying it better than I used to. That's good. Anna, she spends a lot of time in bed, but she doesn't force herself to rest anymore. She rests more often, but not that long, like one meditation after every activity, and she doesn't track time anymore. Isn't that freeing? It's so freeing to not have to track. Tracking is really hard. People don't, I think, acknowledge how much effort and energy tracking everything takes. Excuse me. Oh, your schedules kept clashing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, you emailed him again though. That's great. I really hope you get to talk to him, Jack. That would really excite me. Oh, Anna, you can get up if you need to get something. And you can wait in the kitchen for food to get warm, and you'll clean a little bit. That's so cool. That's so cool getting to be active again. But if you need to, you can get out. And if you feel like it, you go for a walk or take a shower or cook or call somebody, even though most of the time you chill in bed or on the couch. Still super cool to have those moments of freedom. Again, celebrate. That's amazing. Okay, Ralph says, if someone took heroin without brain damage, the brain can become messed up because the opioid receptors can be so low, it causes permanent problems. Okay, I see what you're talking about. That's, that's a little bit different because it's about something being introduced to the body that's not supposed to be there. Which, yep, that could be considered like permanent damage. That's not tissue based. It's more like a molecule receptor, like a chemical issue, a molecule chemical issue. I personally don't know of anything like that has plagued anyone who has otherwise recovered from like ME/CFS or an ME/CFS like experience. So, I had a lot of things imbalanced in my own body, and pretty much all that stuff has righted itself. Not the thyroid issue. I still take thyroid hormone, but that's fine. If I don't have a whole thyroid, I can't expect my body to produce enough thyroid hormone. So not that I'm aware of. Let's put it that way. Roxy, do I pay ER? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like emergency rooms, urgent care, they cost money. I have health insurance, but the crazy thing about health insurance in this country is that I have no idea what that cost me until my health insurance company bills me, and they might not bill me for another 2 or 3 weeks. So like when I walk in there, they can't tell me what it's going to cost me. They can't tell me what my health insurance is going to charge, because they don't have fixed prices for any of this stuff either. Like if I went in there without insurance, they would have a list of prices for me to pay. And those would be very different numbers than what they're going to send to my insurance company. And those are very different numbers from what my insurance company is going to send to me. It's a giant mess. It's a giant mess. My sister and brother-in-law were very sweet and understanding. They said that they would pick up the bill for whatever that visit cost me. They just moved and they have a baby on the way and they're still young. Like I'm not gonna make them pay for it. But if it's expensive, I'm probably gonna tell them like, welcome, this is your baby gift. The gift of getting bitten so my niece doesn't get bitten. You definitely have to pay the ER here, Roxy. I mean, if someone, who's homeless or someone who really doesn't have any finances walks into an ER, they get to leave without paying anything, but the hospital is stuck recouping that expense elsewhere. So it's a nightmare. Let's see. Rolf says, when something happens that gives you an allergy, no tissue damage involved, but still permanent because of a regulatory problem. So that specific example, not all allergies are permanent. There are food allergies that people heal over time by living a healthier lifestyle, by working on healing the gut membrane. There are definitely, I don't know if there are studies on this, but there are a lot of people I know personally, as well as reports online of people healing certain allergies, of not being able to eat certain foods for a long time, working for a long time to heal their gut membranes, to heal their bodies, to decrease inflammation, and they can begin to eat these foods again later. So not all allergies are permanent. Maybe some are, but not all of them. But I get your point. No tissue damage involved, but it can be a permanent issue. I mean, you know what? I don't want to get down the topic of, that's a side topic, talking about allergies. Definitely tangential to the main topics here. But you're giving me examples of permanent damage that isn't tissue based. So, yeah, Roxy. Yeah. I mean, it was just a freak. Like, her brain just flipped, and like, it's just what she does. She just flips into a different dog without warning. Like a normal dog would like growl or give you some kind of warning signal to say, hey, I'm not feeling good, I want to attack you. But most mammals, most mentally healthy mammals, don't want to attack, don't want to engage in violence, because engaging in violence puts them at risk as well. And animals have a preservation instinct. So, normal dogs will try to get you to back down or stop doing whatever you're doing that they don't like through a warning. And she doesn't warn. She just flips. And my brother and sister, my sister and brother-in-law both know that. They both experienced that with her. So it's just a really unfortunate thing. Yeah. Americans are crazy capitalists. It's true. Well, exactly, Anna. So much better happening to me than to the baby. Oh, yeah, Anna, that is absolutely like an embodiment of the healing mindset, Anna, where you used to be thinking like, oh my God, you used to be beating yourself up mentally. I overdid it. I have to go to bed. Why didn't I go to bed earlier? Creating stress internally with that negative self-talk, like I talked about at the beginning, to switching that to, oh, it's okay that you just went to bed. It's not too late. You'll be okay. Just relax. Like, that is the epitome of the healing mindset right there, that shift. You're not changing your behavior, but you're changing how you think about it, how you respond to it, and decreasing that stress response to it. Rob, I gotta lose that Remeron weight before I'm Zoom ready. Oh man, no aesthetics judgment on our calls, please, ever. No, we all have much more important things in our lives than worrying about how we look. Okay. It was funny. I actually lost weight when I was really ill and I wasn't moving a lot. Didn't have to try. I just did. I'm actually slightly heavier now than I was when I was at my most ill. Anna, that has helped me so much. So don't call yourself off for going to bed too late. Of course, it is better to do it earlier, but hi, you do your best. So that's already okay. And it's true. I know that can sound so trite and that can sound so whatever, but it's true when you can really embrace the fact that you can let yourself off the hook. You don't have to be perfect. And that, in fact, you're going to get better faster if you stop trying to be perfect. So, yeah, Anna, that's really well said. That's really sweet too. Okay, so we're at an hour. I do need to run. I have such a busy day today. Oh man, I closed another deal today for work, which is awesome. And I have to pack for this weekend because I got a little trip coming up to my sister's bachelorette party, the one who's not pregnant. All right. This was great. Yeah, you can put a pretty filter on yourself while doing Zoom. Snapchat makes a camera for your laptop, and you can put a Snapchat filter on yourself while you're on a Zoom call now. Oh, I did that a couple months ago, didn't I? I had all the crazy, silly, funny, cat ear, fox ear things. So I had a cat on my head. I did do that one video, didn't I? I also have pretty filters in there if you want to use that. You're welcome, Jack. Ralph. Oh, what kind of deal? What are you referring to? Why don't I know what you're asking about if you're asking me? What kind of deal? I'm not sure what that question is. Oh, what kind? Oh, business deal. Oh, right. I told you I closed a deal today. Actually doing video for another person's business, which is exciting to me because I'm really enjoying doing video. I don't know. I'm trying to start one business, but this other video business it's just really easy. It's way easier to close deals doing video than it is doing the resilience coaching. It's really interesting, but we'll see where the future goes. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So good to speak to all of you today. So great to see each of you pop up. Jack and Ralph and Roxy. And Anna, of course. All right. So I didn't hear a ton of interest for Zoom next week. So we'll just meet here on YouTube. If you guys change your minds and you want to do Zoom, we can do Zoom. No shame in anyone's game on what's going on. And sending you guys all so much love and so much health. I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks, Roxy. Raf, they're called explainer videos. You can Google explainer video, and that's the type of video I'm doing for companies. You want to make videos for a living, so much healthier than sitting in front of a screen. All right, Raf. Whenever I make my video course, I am going to send it to you for free. And same for anybody else on this channel, okay? You can just message me. Just let me know. I don't have it ready yet, but when I do, you'll be on my list. All right. Take care, all. Bye.